Yes, we're live. It's the first episode of Ringside Report MMA for 2025. Let's go.
Let's go.
We're live. We're on fire. We got the whole...
We lost you, Dave. We had you. We lost you.
2025 starts great. There we go. Freddie, take over the show.
Dave, it froze. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. This is not a good way to start, man.
Welcome
Dave was getting all
to
woke on us, man, before. He's a hard MAGA follower now. Look at him go.
Hogan supporter.
Hogan supporter, man. He's
Hogan
upset.
Shrine.
So what happened, Freddie, with all that? I'm confused.
Are we back? There we go.
Yes,
yeah,
we're
you're
back.
but I was trying to get the whole Hogan thing there. Like, what's the deal?
Bro.
How can you boo one of the greatest entertainers of all time, man? Everybody knows
we're
that.
starting off hot. Whoa. Take it easy. AJ.
And we want to congratulate you for becoming part of the MAGA world, Dave.
I don't know if that's happened, AJ. I don't know if that's happened necessarily.
I thought you admitted that. Freddie, was I wrong?
That was before the show. That was a joke. These are all jokes.
I don't know about that, man. I've ordered you the flag already, man. Soon to be the 51st. state. Are you okay, bud? Is everything okay there with the production
I'm having
team?
a bit.
Are they sleeping at the wheel? What's happening here?
No. I think I'm all right, but I'm having a bit of a tech issue. My mouse stopped working, so I can't really operate anything. But I'm not even seeing a cursor, so I'm wondering if it's the mouse or something else going on.
You want to curse? No problem. We could curse.
I do want to curse a little bit about the thing. So we're going to talk about some MMA things tonight, guys. We got a couple fights to talk about. Mackenzie Dern is fighting
Johnny's going hard.
Ribas on Saturday. So the UFC is back. We are back. It's been a couple weeks off. Fred, you have a good holiday?
Welcome back, guys.
Nice break.
Great holiday, man. I went tube sliding with my kids there.
Mhm.
It was fucking fun, man. You guys should have came.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
It was
You're
just
right.
not.
We'll do it.
It wasn't the right day for me. I wanted to go, but it just wasn't the right day. But tubing is always fun. Hasn't been quite enough snow outside for just old regular sledding. Oh, there we go. I got my mouse back. There we go. I think maybe the battery was fully dead and I needed to change it. And I just did that. Hey, no one cares. But I'm happy about it. So now we can move on with the show, right?
Listen, man, do you want to start with the Hogan thing? Because Johnny's on fire there. Like, people have a right to boo, but I want to know what is going on.
Wow. Okay. Patrick C. Hamilton is in the chat. He says, let's have a great 2025, everyone. I agree with that. I think we should have a great 2025. And we should avoid, difficult topics and things that make us angry or upset. I think that's great. Or maybe we dive right into it, Fred. I think you're right. I think you're right. 2025 is going to be a year of chaos and rage. So let's go. Let's keep up the chaos. Let's keep up the rage. 2025 is when I become officially cranky and old. So get ready for things to get a little spicy here on the Ringside Report Network. Because things are getting a little wild.
Become a crazy old man.
Yeah.
You don't give a hoot what you say, what you do, how you look, how you sit, how you eat.
How old is Hulk Hogan?
Oh, brother.
70-something?
Big Terry is a 70-something. Hulk Hogan.
This is what AJ doesn't.
He didn't look good. He was 71. He did not walk well. He wasn't looking great.
But that's what AJ doesn't understand. All the people in that crowd, I'd say 90% of them have never really seen Hulk Hogan wrestle, or they're too young to have known Hulk Hogan, and all they know is what's been in the news for the past 10, 15 years of him, which is not great. So, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of that. That's why they're booing Hogan. I think there's just, there are a lot of stories out there about Hogan that make him look bad, and he doesn't really go out there and defend himself much. When he's out there talking, he's just like, hey, brother, all right, brother. And then he tells stories that are untrue, and you go, what are you even talking about? He makes things up, and it's unclear, too, when you hear Hogan talk. Are you making it up? Do you think it really happened? There are just so many weird things about Hulk Hogan, Terry Bollea, the man, and that's all fans know. But I just have a hard time completely dismissing him, because he's the reason why I started watching pro wrestling as a kid. He was my favorite wrestler. He still is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, because he was the best. You know what I mean? He was hugely popular. He was incredibly charismatic. He was an electric personality. He's still a household name in 2025, and he was popular 40 years ago. The guy is a legend above all the legends that they had there. He was the star of the show for the WWF. He main evented, 8 out of the first 9 WrestleManias. And he really, the whole show revolved around him. The whole reason why WrestleMania and the WWF was successful was because of him. So that part of it bothers me a bit, and always will bother me, because the fans reacting to him so negatively at a wrestling show, you go, well, guys, he's kind of the reason why we're all here. Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes and The Rock and The Undertaker and all these guys wouldn't be big stars, wouldn't be big money earners, wouldn't be who they are if Hulk Hogan had not been that guy and paved the way. It was very much him. So that part kind of bothers me, you know? I get why people boo Hogan, and I thought it was hilarious that they were booing Hogan. I thought it was so funny because they trot him out there, and it's clearly for a babyface promo. He's like, oh, brother, WWE and Hulk Hogan, always a great tag team, and WWE and Hulk Hogan beer are going to make a great tag team, and boo, boo. Me and the Macho Man, boo. It's like, don't even talk about Macho Man. It's offensive. Stop bringing up Macho Man to get some, a cheap pop for the Macho Man. Boo. It's not happening. WWE and Netflix are going to be a great boo. They're booing Netflix in front of Ted Sarandos, the guy who runs Netflix. All the Hollywood executives are there. It's like a really big deal. Ari Emanuel's in the front row. Jeez. And Triple H. Like, I think really it's less about Hogan and more about Triple H. Because he's the guy who thought it was a good idea to send Hogan out there in that moment to do that promo, and he thought the fans would react positively. He was the guy booking the show that was a babyface promo designed to get a lot of love. And he got booed out of the building. Now, part of that is Hogan. Part of that is also Triple H not realizing, like, they're not going to react nicely to this. They're not going to be happy with Hogan. They have been booing Hogan for several years now. When he came out at Mania a few years ago with, like, Titus O'Neil, they tried to make it like, hey, brother, look at me and Titus O'Neil. It's all good now. And all the fans were like, boo. Booing Hogan because they saw right through what they were trying to do. The fans have been booing Hogan for a while. The fact that it happened on such a big stage is what makes it so funny. Because...
But do you think it bothers them?
Because they...
do you think it gets them?
I think it might bother them a bit, because it's not what they intended. It's not what they wanted. Like, they're trying to sell a beer. And Johnny is telling me in the chat they're part owners
Hollywood
of Hogan's
Hogan.
beer now. What's that?
They should have sent Hollywood Hogan.
Right,
and I
but
bet
the
the crowd
problem is,
would have cheered for Hollywood.
The problem is, like, maybe they would have cheered for Hollywood, but if you fully heel out and the fans still boo you and they hate you, you're trying to sell the beer and they tend to really babyface shine you up when you're trying to sell a product, because people are more likely to buy something from people they like than people they don't like. So I don't know if the WWE's actually going to go full on like, well, let's do NWO Hogan and just go with the booze because, they're still trying to sell this beer. So they're in a really tough spot because they have to keep him around. They have to bring him out again. They've already advertised him for this Saturday night's main event that they're doing in a couple weeks. It was very funny to see the reaction to Hogan. I felt kind of bad for Hogan, but I know I'm in the minority of people who felt bad for Hogan, so that's fine. And I get it. I totally get it. Believe me, I get it. But I'm just a Hulkamaniac and a diehard Hulkamaniac, He was so good. He was awesome. Hulk Hogan, when I was a kid,
I always
great.
wanted him to lose. I hated Hogan,
didn't.
man. He was
I always
hogging
wanted
the
him to
title
win.
always.
Oh.
I don't know, man. Nah.
Well, we're like, you're a little bit older than me, right? So, like,
Yeah.
for me, I'm like 5 years old when he's like peaking, huge. I loved it. Cartoon Hogan, red and yellow. I was loving it. I was like 4 years old, and I saw him, and
I was
like,
happy
"Whoa, what
when
the hell is
Macho
this?"
Man won the title. I was happy when he got screwed at the 92. Well, he didn't even get screwed. Sid fucking eliminated him, and he fucking threw a tantrum.
Sid
and he
eliminated
cost Sid-
him from outside the ring, Fred. He did get screwed.
No. Go watch it. Sid eliminated Hogan, and then Hogan threw a
Hogan
tantrum
eliminated
and cost
Sid from outside the ring.
Yeah.
Hogan screwed Sid, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I always
brother.
loved how Jesse Ventura would call him like a hypocrite and all, because that's what he is. Jesse Ventura knew that Hogan was a hypocrite back then.
Brother.
And today we just find out that like people are exposed to the truth. They know it.
I think if you really want to get ratings, you just put Ventura and Hogan in the ring for a promo segment on Saturday night's main event and let it fly and see what happens.
Go for it.
Just give them live mics and then be like, it's a face-to-face, Jesse Ventura and Hulk Hogan, 40 years in the making, and you just put it on TV and you say, guys, say what you have to say to each other in the ring. If you can get in the ring, because I know you're both kind of banged up. I don't know. Maybe just on the side. But, it was funny that they were booing him. I wouldn't have booed Hogan, but I get it, and I thought it was funny.
I got more of an issue with the fact that the network library is not really going to be on Netflix, the entire library of pay-per-views, and that kind of sucks.
Well, thankfully, I still have a massive DVD library, Fred. So I have all sorts of stuff that the WWE will never take from me, and I will always have a record of certain things, I've got the Chris Benoit DVD. You know what I mean? I've got a lot of stuff. Shout out to Angelo Contagonis dropping the super chat. Angelo says something. Thoughts and prayers to those affected by the fires in California. Okay. Yes, for sure. Awful stuff going on. I know, AJ, you have a family member affected by the fires.
Yep. I saw the video. It was insane. I mean, from her perspective, coming into her car and driving away. So it was, it's unbelievable. I saw like some aerial shots of like that whole area, and it's like, it's crazy, man. It looks like the whole island of Montreal that just got flattened out.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's over 5,000 like structures that are completely wiped out. I mean, that's serious, and it's still going on hard.
Scary.
So scary, man.
Yeah.
How many jiu-jitsu gyms went up in flames? MMA gyms, in that area, which were.
I'm more concerned about people's homes and.
Well, yeah, for sure.
People in general.
People in general. Everybody. Just hope everybody can get out of there and stay safe, because you can rebuild, but you can't come back to life.
It's going to take a long time to rebuild there.
You know what I mean?
It's
evacuate.
I mean, there was no water. Literally, this is the biggest issue. Like that's going around. Like there's a lot of talk and whatnot.
All right, let's not get into. I know where you're going, and let's not get into what you've read on the internet, AJ. Let's kind of move on.
No. It's
and
factual,
dude.
I have people out there.
Okay, AJ, but that's not. I don't want to get into a whole thing. Okay, we're not getting into a whole thing. We're just saying it's scary. Fires are bad, and we hope that the people are safe. That is the point, and that is the only point we are going to make on that tonight. Please. AJ.
Water stops fire.
Of course it does.
Yeah. Save the smelts.
Oh, God. See, like, why do you have to go into a thing all the time? Like, it's unnecessary. We could just keep it on a nice level. You have to take it. You gotta lower the standard. It's unnecessary, AJ. Keep yourself.
Who doesn't like smelts, man? I love smelts.
I don't know.
I think
they're.
I love eating them. Listen, Italians eat smelts all the time. And I know Angelo does. The Greeks, fried smelts, man.
Antoinette says, I will always support Hogan. Screw the haters. Thank you, Antoinette, for sticking with us. A member of the team over at join.ringsidereport.net. Join.ringsidereport.net is how you support the channel. Antoinette has been doing so
47
for the
months.
past 47 months, which is several years, and we love you for it. Leor, as well, in the chat, a great supporter. Hello to you, Leor. Leor, Patrick, Angelo, Antoinette.
Happy
Members in the chat
man.
tonight, brother. Johnny North making a very solid point about Pat McAfee. He said,
What did he say?
Funny part was Pat McAfee on commentary marking out for Hogan. Like going crazy. Oh, it's Hogan, oh my God. And then burying him on his show the next day, like making fun of him and doing a whole skit.
Why?
Making fun of him. Because the public opinion obviously changed, and he was like, oh, let me get on this Screw Hogan bandwagon, when the night before he was like the biggest Hulkamaniac, and then the next day he's like,
What a
oh, I
flopper,
guess
man.
he sucks.
He's a flopper, dude.
No, well,
no respect.
Okay.
Weak.
No
No,
respect.
no. I love Pat McAfee, so I'm going to defend him.
Why?
When he's working for WWE, he has a script to follow.
No,
when he's on his own show, he's telling you what he's thinking.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
He's got a point there.
He's
He's got a
very
point.
mid, Pat McAfee. I don't know why. I'm not a football guy, so I don't get it. I don't follow football, so I have nothing for Pat McAfee. When he comes
respect
into
the
when he shows up in
businessman,
WWE,
actually.
I'm like,
I respect the businessman, man. ESPN is paying him for his show. He's still independent. That's like unheard of.
oh, I don't even know what you're really talking about. Like, I don't follow his career. I know he's popular, but like, I don't, like, he doesn't appeal to me in any way. So I don't follow him, and I just see him in wrestling, and I go, I hope he doesn't wrestle, because he's really not good at wrestling. On commentary, he's like, it's not like wrestling commentary these days is that great anyway, so he's just whatever, par for the course. He's okay. He's about as good as Corey Graves, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, him and Corey Graves are interchangeable at this point. I go, whatever. Same. I don't really see a difference. Like, to me, Pat McAfee is Corey Graves. He's the same guy, basically.
I feel commentary is too scripted these days. It feels it doesn't feel natural.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think a big thing with commentary that they're missing is it's not wrestlers for the most part. I mean, Corey Graves, I guess, was a wrestler, and Wade Barrett is on commentary, and he's a wrestler. But it used to be that both guys had to be, like, part of the business, like, part of wrestling. Because I guess back then it was more a closed business, and they didn't let people from the outside in on the secrets of wrestling, which was kind of nice back then. I know a lot of people don't really understand the days when people in the wrestling business acted like it was real. But that used to be a thing. But I feel like the guys now with like the straight sports kind of, you know, they get guys from whatever sport and they try to make them WWE play-by-play guys. They got a guy now who was doing Raw, who's on SmackDown. I forget his name. Joe.
Tessitore.
Yes. You know him? Did you know him from sports broadcasting?
Yeah, I think he used to be a football announcer.
Okay. Right. The problem is when they come into WWE, they kind of call it like a sport, which is what WWE wants it to sound like. They want that vibe, but then they also, like, there's a level of acting that goes into it. You know? Like, you have to kind of be in on the story and he's not good at that. Like, he's not an actor. He doesn't have the wrestling sense because he's not been in the wrestling business. He's never been a manager or a wrestler or, you know, a promoter.
He doesn't
nothing.
understand the banter that goes between the announcers.
That's it. So it's like, it's missing. And it just feels kind of hollow. It's not
Scripted.
there.
With bad script. Like, there's no chemistry or.
Like Gorilla Monsoon and Jesse Ventura were wrestling people. You know, Vince McMahon, Bobby Heenan, Jerry Lawler, Jim Ross. Those are wrestling people. You know? Jim Ross came up in the wrestling business as a referee and you know what I mean? Like, he was a wrestling guy. He wasn't a wrestler, but he was of the business. Now they take guys from other businesses and they try to put them in WWE, and it doesn't work. It's like they don't realize that you also have to act. they forget about the entertainment when they book their announcers. You know what I mean? It's sports entertainment. It's not sports. It's sports entertainment. It's weird. Like,
Well
even
said,
Michael
man.
Cole is like not. He's all right now, but
Yeah, well, it started with him, man. You see, he was one of the bad ones that started.
yeah.
Like pre Michael Cole was pretty good.
And he is
And-
the guy that they want now. Like, they want more Michael
Isn't
Cole.
he in charge? Isn't he also like in charge of announcers or something like that? I
Yeah, I
forget
think
what's his
so.
position.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think he's the one that makes those decisions.
because he's all they got. They don't have anybody else. And Johnny North says, yeah, they call Cole the GOAT. They call him the greatest of all time. I heard Pat McAfee say that. Michael Cole, the GOAT. And I'm like, excuse me, sir? Have you ever heard Jim Ross? I mean, really. How many clips over other things on the internet does Michael Cole have? Because you hear Jim Ross, by God, that guy has a family. You know what I mean? Like, this guy was quotable. This guy was electric. This guy was the greatest wrestling announcer of all time. Jerry the King Lawler and Jim Ross were the greatest announcing duo that the business has ever seen and probably will ever see, based on the trajectory of play-by-play and color commentary in pro wrestling. Michael Cole, the GOAT. That was crazy to me. I mean, really? Todd Pettengill, the GOAT. Like, really? Jim Ross is still alive. Like, a little respect.
Michael Cole is like LeBron James. He's stat padding from years of being there, but there's no substance.
No, he's been a good soldier for the WWE, and that's why they treat him the way he is treated. You know? He's a good company man. That's what it is. He's a company man. All right, guys.
AJ's lost. You see,
Yeah.
like
No, man, I'm listening, and I know exactly.
Michael Cole,
man.
Bobby Heenan, like those are like he
Well, I
probably
know
doesn't
Bobby
even
Heenan,
know.
man.
Okay,
I know Bobby Heenan, but like I know the Cole name and all that kind of stuff, and I'm listening to you guys, and it makes absolute sense. You can't bring guys from other sports to come into something that they've said, which is sports entertainment. It's not
Yeah.
sports. And even within sports, when you bring in like somebody who was from basketball, as we know, try to get into MMA and start talking, it's not always the same. They don't have that same spirit because they don't actually are part of that entertainment. So WWE to me is entertainment. Even though I don't have as much knowledge like you guys, I know all the greats, man. All the way from Mad Dog Vachon to like, Andre the Giant, which I've met, like all the way to Hogan, Randy Macho Man Savage, Jake the Snake. These guys were my favorites. And all the way up to now, man, Cody Rhodes. I love Cody Rhodes. CM Punk. But I understand that if you're going to be talking about these guys to bring the elevated levels of entertainment, you got to be part of it. So to bring someone in as a crossover just because it looks more realistic is sometimes a failure. And I agree with Dave. They're going about it wrong. There's a lot of there's a lot of Rosses that could be next, but you got to bring these guys in and build their credibility. It's like saying like Howard Cosell of the days with Muhammad Ali. There was only one Howard Cosell, and it was hard to replace him. But there was other announcers in other sports that we know, man, that will never be forgotten. So they shouldn't do that to the WWE. And I agree with you, Dave. As more of a casual fan, I agree with you. Because sometimes I listen to some of those guys that are announcing and they get me mad. Like one guy. Remember the guy I said I wanted to smash?
Yes, I understand.
Cody Rhodes. Not Cody Rhodes. What's his name? Graves.
Corey Graves. Yes, I
He's
understand.
good.
Corey
I
Graves.
like
I don't
Corey.
like him so much. I don't like
Freddie,
him so much.
we should mention
Super chat.
Antoinette says
Super chat.
highlight of the night for Netflix on Raw was Travis Scott with a blunt. I don't know if you noticed or if you saw, but Travis Scott walked out with Jey Uso and was smoking weed on his way.
What?
To through the crowd, and you could tell it was weed by the smoke.
Is Jay or
What? How do you
Jimmy
know
the
that?
one that's had a bunch of issues?
well, more Jimmy, but I think Jay's
Okay.
been arrested, if I'm not mistaken.
I mean, good, man. I look, I'm a weed smoker, so I don't
Yeah.
care. I'm
But
happy
it's
for
the first
that.
time. It's the first time that you've seen weed, actual weed, being smoked on Monday Night Raw. Historic occasion by the
Listen, I
legend.
made a kind of a blunder there.
The legend
I
Travis
said, like,
Scott.
how would you know? How would you know, like, by the smoke that it's weed? And then I realized I'm talking to Fred and Dave. But for me, like,
We would know.
elaborate, man. What's the difference in the smoke? Like, isn't smoke
Thicker.
smoke?
Yeah, thicker, right? There's something
Yeah.
about weed smoke when you could tell by the smoke that, oh, that's weed. That's not a cigarette. That's not anything else. He's smoking weed right there. It was like a thick smoke. People were saying he was smoking a blunt, but like, I don't know, it was kind of small. I thought maybe it was a joint, but it was small. I was a little disappointed with the size of the number. I was like, whoa, how about like some Travis Scott, man? Like, I'm expecting a bat. Like, what is this? Like,
The
you're
Snoop Dogg
supposed to
bat.
be Travis Scott, highest in the room. Like, I want you to be the highest in the room. You know what I mean? I love Travis Scott. I think he's great. But
Yeah, the
I mean,
smell, I got that part.
I
but the
only
smoke
saw
is
like a
completely different.
screenshot and I read about the entrance, but to me, it's probably nowhere near the great entrances of the Sandman, where he used to drink a bunch of beers. He would smoke cigarettes, but those were classics. Those
Yeah.
were the best.
he would drink beers, smoke cigarettes, and then smash the beer can into his head and start bleeding before the match even started. He was cool
Enter
as hell.
Sandman.
Yeah. Wow, Enter Sandman played. I mean, that's pretty badass. But this was a good entrance. I will say it was good. I didn't need Pat McAfee and Michael Cole jumping on the announce table doing the like yeet thing. Like, that was unnecessary. McAfee's always got to get his face in there. It's like, come on, man. You're the It's not his
He's
role.
the rebel, man.
Yeah, but it's not his role to do that. Like, you're not it's not your moment. It's not your moment. It's Jey Uso's
Every moment's
It's
his
Travis
moment.
Scott's moment. It's not your moment, Pat McAfee. Don't make it about you. I don't know why he had to jump up on the announce desk. Like, stand up if you want, dance, but like, once you jump up on the announce desk, you're part of it. And that's not for you. It's not for you, Pat McAfee. That wasn't not your entrance. That was Jey Uso's entrance for Jey Uso's match on Jey Uso's big night. Did Jey Uso ask you to do that? Or did you just do it, go into business for yourself? Because if you did and went into business for yourself, that's a problem. That's a problem. Like, I don't like that shit. Don't do that. Sit the fuck down. You're the color commentator. You're a guest. Sit down. Be humble. Johnny North says 100%, Dave. See, that comes from a guy who's a wrestler, who, if some commentator guy jumped up on his desk while Johnny's making his entrance, he'd be like, sit down. Fuck are you doing? This guy's like egomaniac, all about himself, Pat McAfee. It's not about you, dude. Not everything is about you. I know it's hard to believe. You're a big star. Everybody's on your, everybody's sucking up to you, but come on. Like, Travis Scott and Jey Uso are there. I get you're excited, but
DJ Bourne said it best, man. Put Snoop Dogg there, man, over Pat. Like, I've heard Snoop in like commentary.
Snoop is good.
You don't think so? He's
Yeah,
good,
Snoop
man.
is good.
Man.
One time Kevin Hart was a guest on Raw. He was like a guest promoting some movie, and they put him on commentary for like a match, and he was fantastic. He was hilarious. If they could only... I mean, they got the Netflix deal now. Kevin Hart isn't as popular as he once was. Is there a window there to get him? If they got Pat McAfee, could they get Kevin Hart for SmackDown or something? That would be pretty good. I'm just saying, if we're going that road, I think away from the sports and closer to the entertainment. I don't think we want to go with sports people. I think we want to go with entertainment people for those roles.
Yep.
Comedians, actors, maybe, if they got enough personality, like, talk show hosts, if those people still exist. But, like, you know, Jon Stewart was fun on commentary. Like, those type of people, I think comedians really, you get, like, a solid comedian on commentary, you could do something there. Commentary should be funny. Like, I think that's also something that's lacking that we used to have. Like, Bobby Heenan was funny as hell. He had jokes. He had one-liners. Jerry Lawler, too. You know what I mean? Like, those guys were funny. These guys aren't funny now. Is Pat McAfee funny?
His stick is.
Is it? Or is it just irritating?
But
it's annoying.
You see, I watch him on his podcast there, and it's more about like his team. You know, he's the lead guy and his team around him, and they got like their little banter going. So yeah, he's funny in that. Right. He's also very good on College Game Day. That's where he's at his best, I feel.
Okay.
And he's like the guy. They always go on campus, so there's like hundreds, if not thousands, of kids around him, and he's the one like leading the chants and all. Man, he's an entertainer. He has some personality to him, and he knows how to go, man.
Yeah. Like he speaks well, and he can kind of get people excited, but I wouldn't say that he's funny.
No,
like he doesn't make me laugh. Like Bobby Heenan would say things once in a while, I'd be like, oh shit, you know?
You're right. But that would be more Corey Gray's job, or yeah.
Like to me,
it's a 3-man booth when he's there, I guess.
Yeah, but Corey Graves is not. No, Corey Graves is on SmackDown, I think, with Wade, with the other guy, right? Or is Corey Graves not there anymore? Where is Corey? I guess he wasn't on Raw. What happened to Corey Graves? Johnny, help me. I don't know. Because they got that Joe Tessito on SmackDown, and I think he's with Wade Barrett, but maybe Corey Graves too. I think SmackDown has a new announced team. Johnny needs to help me on that. I'm lost, honestly. I don't know who they have anymore in their rotation because Matt McAfee throws everything out of whack. Matt McAfee. That's the guy they hired for SmackDown. It's a different guy. Shout out to Grimskull dropping a super chat. Here's to an awesome 2025. Thank you, and to you, Grimskull. Appreciate you. Very nice. Thank you, Grimskull. Great supporter. Go check him out. Check out his YouTube channel.
Oh, really?
Angelo says Corey Graves is on NXT. Ooh, he got demoted to NXT. I guess he only shows when football season. Is football season going on? Oh, so what's McAfee doing now? Why is he so?
Everything.
Graves just got demoted to NXT because McAfee's back. Damn. They didn't demote Wade Barrett. They demoted Corey Graves. Woo. That's not good. 3-man booth NXT, Johnny says. But so SmackDown is a 2-man booth with Joe Tessito and Wade Barrett. I got that right. Damn. I didn't realize Corey Graves got demoted that hard. That's rough, man. It sucks for him. And he's a wrestler. I like Booker T on commentary. Booker T's still on SmackDown or NXT commentary, I think. Booker T is great. They should promote him. I'd much rather hear Booker T than Pat McAfee. Oh, Shucky Ducky, quack, quack. Give me that. Give me the Shucky Ducky, quack, quack moment of the night. Give me Booker T. Give me JBL. Give me Mick Foley. Give me those guys on commentary. Give me Triple H. Put Triple H on commentary. What a match we have tonight. That would be fucking hilarious. He's good on commentary. It was, of course, on commentary where he uttered the famous Triple H phrase, I may be by a lot of things, but lingual's not one of them. Wait. That's what he said. He said that on commentary. He was on commentary one time. He said, I may be by a lot of things, but lingual's not one of them. Everybody went, what? Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do to get ahead in this business.
Might be bipolar.
Maybe that's what he was talking about, Fred. We love him. Johnny says Booker doesn't want to travel too much. Doesn't want to be away from Queen Charmel. And who could blame him? Great man, that Booker T. Lovely man. Lovely. Okay, guys. You want to talk about MMA? I feel like this has been a pro wrestling show because it has been.
Yeah.
Tomorrow,
we started
MMA
off
with Johnny.
Hogan, man.
Yeah, me and Johnny will
That's
break
it, the
down
show
the
is
Amanda
canceled.
Ribas Mackenzie Dern fight.
That's it.
No, I think Johnny and I will talk
Johnny
more
could.
about Raw tomorrow. I want to talk about how The Rock went full babyface and why that's not that weird, considering where Roman is right now. It was disappointing, but not weird. It made sense in a way. We'll talk about The Rock. We're going to talk about Hogan probably a little more because, I mean, who doesn't want to talk about Hogan right now? He's the hottest thing going. We'll talk about CM Punk winning, and we'll talk about all the things that happen on SmackDown tomorrow because there's a 3-hour SmackDown that's on Netflix in Canada now. Netflix has SmackDown and Raw and all the WWE premium live events, like everything. All the WWE shows are going to be on Netflix now. So we'll watch SmackDown on Netflix too in Canada. In the States, it's going to be on the USA Network. But over here, all their programming is on Netflix, which is cool.
I've been watching it, man. It looks great.
Johnny says, AJ, you'll guest star tomorrow on the wrestling show to talk MMA. Okay? Not
That's
really.
it. The show's over, man. Good night.
Is that it?
No. Let's give AJ his 5-10 minutes to drool over Mackenzie Dern and
2025, baby. 2022. Yeah, 2025. She's still there, man.
She is still fighting in 2025.
Probably her last year, let's be honest.
What?
In my opinion. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I don't think. Yeah. It's starting to. The
Why?
breakup is happening, man.
What?
The honeymoon's over, man.
Wow, you're
I came
losing
close,
faith
man.
in
I came
Mackenzie
close.
Dern.
I came close, man. I tried to schmooze her dad.
she
brought
won,
out
she
the
won her last
chocolates.
fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude. She did. Yeah, but she lost
She
against
beat
Ribas the
Lupi
first time, and-
Godinez in her last fight. Her opponent, Amanda Ribas, coming off a loss to Rose Namajunas. And this one is a 5-round main event. Fight night, of course, at the Apex, because they couldn't sell tickets for this card. Let me tell you. Ribas and Dern, both 31 years old. Ribas has a record of 13 wins, 5 losses. Mackenzie Dern, a jiu-jitsu specialist, has a 14-5 record. Right now, odds have Dern plus 150, Ribas minus 200. Amanda Ribas from Brazil has never been tapped, which isn't great if you're looking for a Mackenzie Dern win, because Mackenzie Dern likes that submission. She's looking to take you down and finish you somehow, an armbar or choke, whatever she can find. And she usually finds it when she gets to take you down, but, you know, you can stall her out, you can escape. There are ways around Mackenzie Dern's game, as we've seen in the UFC over the past few years. And now we have this fight with Amanda Ribas, who's been knocked out a couple of times, who's lost a couple of decisions. Still one of the better strawweights in the UFC.
She has a win over
Yeah.
Mackenzie.
She
Right,
does.
this is a rematch, right?
Yeah, this is number two.
Mhm.
Do it.
They fought back in 2019, which
Yep.
is like a long time ago. And Amanda won by decision. I think that's probably where it goes
Yeah.
here. I don't think she finishes Mackenzie Dern. but I think she does enough to win. I think Amanda Ribas gets the win here.
Look, when you look at Mackenzie, and you know me, I love Mackenzie. I'm like, a great supporter of Mackenzie. But coming up against Ribas, I mean, when we look at 2019, yeah, like Freddie said, like Mackenzie Dern won her last fight, with Lupi. But to be honest, man, her rebound fight from Ribas was great, but she's 3-4, man, since 2019. Things are not looking great, and when you look at Ribas, I mean, if you have to look at it again, when you're fighting someone for the second time, chances are, it goes back to who won it originally. And I think you're right, Dave. I think it'll go to a decision. But if it's standing up, Ribas is a much better striker, that's for sure. And her wrestling is actually better than Mackenzie Dern. So, if it goes to the ground and she's able to ground and pound her way to a victory, yeah, I can see a stoppage. But I think it's going to be exactly that without the stoppage and pretty much a win for Ribas with a decision. And me, to go against Mackenzie Dern, it's because, I'm not joking. I think this is, if not like at the end of her career this year, or maybe another year from that, she'll have probably 2 fights in 2 years, or this will be probably her last fight, and I think her career is done, I think she's going to get back into the jiu-jitsu game at 31. She still could be very competitive in that world, but I think going against Amanda, it's going to be a tough fight. I think the odds are right on this one. And I'm trying to be more positive in 2025. I'm trying, my goal was to be take away the emotional effect of trying to date her and marry her and
God.
Which actually happened. People think I'm joking.
Oh my God.
AJ's not joking, man.
You should be.
Okay, I was going to give you a lot of props because I agree with all your analysis except the end there.
Yeah.
Not too sure about the
Went off
dating
the rails
part.
once again.
But yeah, unfortunately also 31, I feel like, she's at the end of her MMA career. You say maybe she goes to jiu-jitsu. I'm not even convinced she could really be of the upper echelon no more. At CGI, she got beat pretty bad, pretty easily. So look, it happens, man. Sometimes, careers don't pan out the way you want. With that said, Ribas is also 3-4 in her last 7 fights. So she's not on the greatest streak, but she lost to some good competition. She lost to Rose. She lost to Chikugian. She lost to Macy Barber. Those are good fighters. So I think Ribas pulls it off, and by decision makes sense for the same reason AJ said. She's big, she's strong. It's gonna be hard for Mackenzie to bring her to the ground, and she probably wins the stand-up. So I'm gonna go with Ribas.
And on top of it, Freddie, just to end it there, I mean, Dern has never won by KO or TKO. So it's gonna be a tough match for her. So honestly speaking, like you said, the bigger, better striker and better wrestler, who's already had a win over her. So the psychological game is already on her side. It's going to be tough for Mackenzie Dern, But honestly, you're right. I think she still has some room in the jiu-jitsu world, in some of those special events that we see. But yeah, I think her career is winding down.
All right, I have a parlay for you. Let's start the year off correctly.
Jesus.
Let's not mess around. This main card is not great. The prelims are even more obscure. Next week is the big card. Next week is UFC 311. I'll tell you about that in a minute. I'm going to give you a quick parlay here. It's a 3-fight parlay. I'm going with Amanda Ribas. I'm going with Harris Carlston as a slight underdog plus 110 to beat Santiago Ponzinibbio.
That's a tough one, man.
That's the co-main event. I like Harris Carlston to win that one. And I'm going with Roman Kopylov minus 250 to take over the action man, Chris Curtis. I like Kopylov, Harris Carlston, and Ribas. It's a $20 parlay. Plus 341 gets you... What is that? 88.20. You get your 20 back plus 68.20 over at Bet99.
You know what, Dave? I'm kind of surprised because I'm going with Roman as well. But to be honest, when I was looking at this card, I'm like, why wasn't Roman and Curtis as co-main? That only makes sense. I'm kind of surprised that you put Carlston, Harris, and Santiago up as the co-main. It should have been, honestly, Roman against Chris Curtis.
Well,
And
didn't
you
make
see,
this-
Dave,
anyways.
I'm going to help you not work too hard tonight because my parlay is simply you take off that Harris guy, and then my parlay is a Kopylov and Ribas.
Oh, there you go. You're making it easy, and I like it.
And you got some really interesting, I was looking at some of the profiles of some of these fighters, and you got a kid there. There's a lot of hype on him. He's debuting in the UFC. His name is Austin Bashi. He's 23 years old, fighting Christian Rodriguez, who's been pretty much underrated. But this kid is there's a lot of hype on him. Someone to look out for. I'm going to be putting him on my parlay.
Hang on. There's Fred's
could be
parlay.
interesting.
Okay.
Let's see.
Fred's parlay. You get you bet 20, you get 42 back. It's Ribas and Kopylov. It's a 2-fight parlay plus 110. There you go. There's a Team Fred parlay. AJ, I know you got a whole. I'm sure you got like a dozen fights you want to put on this parlay.
Look, I didn't want to go with like a dozen fights, but I'm going to go with a lot more than you guys. But I said, like that Austin Bashi kid. I mean, he's something that, that if he wins and he wins impressively against Christian Rodriguez, because if you look at Christian Rodriguez's career, the guy has beaten 3 undefeated prospects.
Hey, Dave, here's my parlay.
Giving them their
on the
first pro
prelims,
loss.
I pick every underdog to win.
Thank you.
That's right, AJ. AI.
Stop telling me about
But
Austin Bashi. He's 13-0. He's 23 years old, and he's going to be making his UFC debut. He's a Dana White Contender Series guy. He has, good overall skills. He's finished a lot of his fights, a few wins by decision, but he's definitely a prospect, but we'll see, AJ. I mean, take it easy. Bet on him if you want. I think he's a solid bet. I think he'll probably win.
Well, again, if you look at Rodriguez's career, I mean, 3 prospects that had they were undefeated, lost to Christian Rodriguez. So, could it happen again for the 4th time? I think 3 times the charm, and I honestly believe this Austin Bashi is gonna destroy Christian. But so my picks for this 2025, I'm starting off actually against Mackenzie Dern. I'm going with Amanda Ribas.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to stay away from that whole Harris and Ponzinibbio fight because, to be honest, man, these guys are at the late stages of their career. Anything can happen. One mistake and it's over. And it's really, I'm surprised you went with that, Dave. Even going with Harris, man. I mean, nothing impressive on that guy for me to put him on a parlay. I'm actually going to step back from that one and go straight to Cesar Almeida. I think Cesar Almeida, a lot of hype on that guy when he first came out. I think he's still good enough at 36 without that many professional fights. He's 6-1 going up against Abdul Razak Alhan, the Judo Thunder guy.
Mm-hmm.
I think Cesar will win this, and then I'm going to go with Roman. I agree with you on that, which I think that should have been the co-main. Austin Bashi, and then I'm actually adding another one. I'm going to add Uros Medic. Let's not forget about Uros. 100% finishing rate. How can you go wrong with this guy?
Medic.
There you go.
He needs a medic.
Yeah, he's a medic.
Medic.
There's AJ's 5-fight parlay. It's a hell of a parlay to start off the year. Austin Bashi, Amanda Ribas, Uros Medic. He's acknowledging Roman Kopylov and Cesar Almeida. 20 gets you a 91.25.
Like
or
that.
111.25 full return, 91.25 plus your 20. That's a plus 456 parlay. That's a big parlay from Team AJ. Again, Almeida, Kopylov, Medic, Ribas, and Bashi. Okay.
Bashi.
Okay. Next week, we've got big fights. We're doing a watch-along. We're back in full effect. We're going to preview the pay-per-view next Thursday. Islam Makhachev, Arman Tsarukyan. Guys, do you see that picture of Tsarukyan looking crazy jacked?
No.
Yeah.
No, I haven't actually. You got it?
Let me see.
Show
if
it,
I
man.
Can. Yes. See, Fred knows what I'm talking about.
He's got a little touch of TRT in there? Jesus. Wee.
Get ready to bet on Arman Tsarukyan for the upset next week, baby. I think he's going to do it.
Armenian beast, man.
Dude.
Look at this guy.
Look at this dude.
Hell?
He's ready for Islam
That's a real
Makhachev.
2, 4, 6. He's got an 8-pack. What the
I've
hell,
never
man?
seen him look like this. He's looking crazy.
Yeah, that's insane. That is insane. As long
Armin
as it wasn't
Saruki and
Photoshop.
Islam Makhachev, 155-pound world title next Saturday night, baby. Woo! That's a
Yeah,
big
but let's not
fight.
forget, it's Islam, man. But
I know. I know. Well, that's the thing. It's Islam. You can't, man. Islam's so good. That's going to be such a good fight. And then the co-main event, Umar Nurmagomedov, Islam's training partner,
oof,
takes on Merab
The beast,
Dvalishvili for the bantamweight title.
that's gonna be insane, dude.
You know, a lot of times I complain when they do like double championship pay-per-views because it's like, usually the co-main is like kind of mid and you just want to get it over with, and then you just want to get to the real main event. Not this time. This time I'm very good with having the double main event because those two fights are tremendous. Tremendous. Legit number one, legit number twos going at it to figure out who's the real number one. Fantastic fights to start off the year from the UFC next weekend. Yuri Prohaska, Jamal Hill is also on this card. Benil Dariush,
Crazy,
Renato
man.
Moicano.
Oof,
Damn.
that's a tough one.
Damn. Nice.
And then you got a nice, interesting one right after that too.
Kevin Holland and Rainier de Ridder. Yeah.
Rainier, man.
What's a tough one? You think Moicano and Dariush is tough?
I don't know, man, because every
I don't
time
think it's tough.
I love Dariush.
I don't
You
think
don't
it's
think
tough.
so?
No, because I think Moicano's going this way and Dariush is going this way.
Dariush looked awful his last fight, if I
Yeah.
remember correctly.
Moicano looks better and better, and Dariush is looking progressively worse. I feel like it's the perfect time for Moicano to fight Dariush. Perfect time. Dariush had his peak, and it
Beautiful
was
card,
like 2
man.
years ago. No disrespect.
And what are
He's
you
a great
thinking
fighter,
about?
but
What are you thinking about Yuri against
timing.
Jamal?
I like Yuri. Yuri smash.
And Kevin Holland against Rainier?
I don't know much
Right
about
now, I
Rainier,
mean, we
but
could
I'd
change
say
it.
Rainier because Kevin Holland I don't trust. But I got to look into it more.
All right.
And
Who's
Joe
on the
Rogan
prelim, by the
says
way?
that Dana White told
Oh.
him that John Jones is not asking for $30 million for the Aspinall fight. There was a rumor that John Jones was asking for $30 million to fight Aspinall, and I think Joe Rogan repeated that, and then he said on his podcast recently that Dana White told him that that's not true, it's a bullshit rumor, and John Jones is probably going to retire. Doesn't look like those Aspinall negotiations are going anywhere, so don't expect that fight to ever happen. Ever.
It will.
Damn, that sucks.
All right, Fred. You want to bet? Side bet. I don't think it's happening. Patrick C. Hamilton dropping a super chat. 2525 super chat for 2025. Thank you, Patrick. Lucky 2525. He
Thanks,
says happy
Pat.
2025. Happy 2025 to you as well. Thank you for supporting the Ringside Report Network. Appreciate you, Patrick, out in Regina, Saskatchewan. Hope you're doing well. Hope it's not too cold out there for you. It's freezing out here in beautiful Montreal, Quebec, Canada. We're still Canadian. It's still a country. Still, for now. For now, we are a sovereign
man.
nation, and we are separate provinces, and we have all that going on for us. For now.
Where's my flag?
Although free travel and being able to work in sunny Florida doesn't sound too
Arizona?
bad right now for me. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, oh, you can get a visa and just travel to Florida or California. Maybe not California right now, but like somewhere warm, and we'd be able to work there, whatever. Like, as far as the media landscape, you know what I mean? It would open up quite a bit for us if we had more access to America. You know? They got a lot of population.
doing the
there's a
show
lot of
live
jobs.
in, like,
there's a
Vegas,
lot of
man.
jobs in media in America that do not exist in Canada. So, and we can't get them because we can't get the visas for it. So, they want to make us a 51st state. I think there are advantages that we would be taking that they don't really realize that maybe they don't want to give up. Get ready for all your media to be Canadian. I mean, like, already, you look at, like, movies and TV and comedy, like, there's a lot of Canadians out there. We export a lot of our people to entertain them. Like, imagine if they were fully open borders. We'd take over all of it. It would all of it. Hollywood, it would all be ours. Canada would run the whole
we already
thing.
did that, Dave. But on the comedy side, man, like Canada's
I'm
always
saying
been
we'd
like
own
the
all
front
of it.
runner in Hollywood. Listen, from SCTV to Saturday Night Live, some of the best comedians all came from Canada.
Americans think that
one
they
of the
would be
champs.
taking us over, but really it would be a Canadian invasion that they would not really like.
Why?
Because we're
Canadians are
awesome.
good.
We're awesome, and we would crush it, and they don't like that. Foreigners coming in to crush it in their country, they would hate it. They would hate it.
Sign me up, man. Arizona.
They would all have to learn to speak French. Every American. They would be so upset. We'd force them. Make them give us free health care too. That's part of the deal. We're used to it. Also, how would the weed thing work? You know, federally, it's legal here. Not federally in the States, so they'd have to rectify that for us. There's a lot of things they'd have to make good
But,
for us before
I
we
mean,
do
everything
sign up.
federal here would become a state because it wouldn't be.
Oh, I guess it would be
Country
states' rights. We'd be able to do whatever the hell we wanted here. Although the rights that we have in Quebec are different than the rights they have in, like, Manitoba. So I don't know how that would work. I don't think they fully thought out this plan. I don't know. I'm not sure. Johnny North says Seinfeld is American. Yes, he is. I mean, obviously, there are many American entertainers who do very well, John. I'm not saying that they don't. I'm just saying, given the size of our country, it's kind of amazing how many of us excel at their entertainment. You know, there's not that many Canadians, yet they're out there in Hollywood, on TV, doing all the things in large numbers. You know?
Yeah, they have Seinfeld, but we have the Trailer Park Boys. Don't forget that, Johnny.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know if that's a fair comparison. I don't think we win that one, but, you know.
You don't think so?
I think they're both very
That's a
good
tough
shows.
one.
I don't think I don't think Trailer Park Boys is better than Seinfeld. It's a hard sell. All right, I think we're done here. I am done with you, AJ.
Wow, Johnny's going to the Seinfeld show. What do you know?
God, Johnny is at everything. Johnny's at
Like
hockey games constantly.
Yeah.
Seinfeld. Like, what's the deal, John?
Because he's a star. Johnny's become a star here, like in Canada. He's like a
John
wrestling
hit the
champion, man. He
lottery.
gets all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
No, man, it's Johnny, man. It's his status. People, like, they're asking him for autographs. I mean, Johnny's a big thing. My kid, all he talks about is the great Johnny North. Oh, Johnny North can move this, and Johnny
That's
North
a
is
problem.
the strongest. You know,
You got to
what
take
would you-
care of
I'd
that.
be like,
It's
I
not
know,
good.
man, but it's all Johnny North now, man.
Mm.
Everything's about Johnny North. See you in Montreal, Antoinette.
Juice Man 562 jumping in. Haven't seen Juice Man 562 ever before. And he says,
Hey,
all
Juice
I
Man."
know, he says, all I know is that Sean O'Sally, I don't know who that is, and Tim Welch, who's Sean O'Malley's coach, so he's probably talking about Sean O'Malley, drink duck nut. That might be some
Duck
sort of
nut.
beverage I'm unaware of. I don't know. But that is all this guy knows. He doesn't know anything except Sean O'Sally and Tim Welch drink duck nut, which I think that's an insult to those guys, which I find interesting that Juice Man 562 would jump on the show and be like, by the way, guys, Sean O'Malley and his coach are dicks. And it's like, okay, cool, fair enough. I mean, Sean O'Malley's talking about fighting the winner of Merab and Umar. I think that's a bad idea for Sean O'Malley.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's a really
Not
bad
good.
idea. Unless the UFC is going to give him those fights at like a really good time for him and a really bad time for Umar. You know, like Sean O'Malley's like, yeah, I'm going to fight the winner of Umar and Merab a month after Umar and Merab fight, and I'm getting ready for it now. Like, if that's happening, okay, maybe O'Malley has a shot, but like, full training camp, I don't know.
Yeah. Not going to happen.
Middle of Ramadan. Face
Yeah.
Umar.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah. It starts in March, Ramadan. So
Hey, man,
It's
they-
not happening.
they kind of did it for O'Malley and Aljamain. Like, they were like, short turnaround for you, Aljamain. O'Malley's been training for a year for this fight, and we're going to do it in Boston because Irish people. You know? Like, they really kind of stacked it against Aljo. Aljo knows it. If you really paid attention, like, I remember going into the fight saying, I think O'Malley's going to win because this is, like, too close for Aljo from the last fight. It was.
I guess the Juice Man doesn't like O'Malley, man.
It was a bit of a setup. And O'Malley won. And then they gave him Cheeto because, you know, why not, you know, keep the money train going with O'Malley. And then they had to give him Merab because you can't ignore Merab forever. And that didn't work out so well for O'Malley. And I think the O'Malley championship.
Did you pick O'Malley
run,
also in that fight?
Probably, but I was dead wrong.
I did.
And now, after seeing that, I can't imagine O'Malley can climb back. I don't think he's got the ability to make the leaps that he needs to make to contend with Merab or Umar. Like, I think Umar is going to be maybe tougher than Merab. Like, I think I'm going to pick Umar. I might be wrong. Picking against Merab again, probably a bad move. Merab is amazing, but Umar is also incredible. Like, I think I'm siding with Umar in that fight, and if I'm right, then Umar may be even more dangerous than Merab, and I think it would be even more difficult for O'Malley to make the gains in the wrestling department that he needs to come close to Umar. So
it's gonna be hard, man. With that Dagestani wrestling, man, like,
yeah,
it's too
the
different
O'Malley
levels
like
of the game.
hype kind of thing. I think is, you know, it was nice while it lasted for the UFC. We thought, hey, maybe the UFC has a good pay-per-view star that'll get people excited, but couldn't keep it going. The wrestling just wasn't there. We found out, you know. You got to find out. You got to get tested. You got to see what's what. People have to get exposed. O'Malley got exposed. That's the game, right?
Yeah,
that's why they have the
game,
fights,
man.
to find out. So we know. I thought O'Malley had good enough takedown defense to piece up Merab on the feet and get a knockout. You know, O'Malley was looking sharp. Takedown defense was not sharp enough. It wasn't. Not only was it not sharp enough, it was like nowhere near sharp enough. You know, O'Malley got dominated in that fight. It's like he wasn't even there. It was bad. All right, guys. I'll be back tomorrow. Thank you, Juice Man. Thank you for that. Got a little Sean O'Malley talk out of it. You said just had to drive by that statement to your attention. Well, I appreciate it. I didn't know they drank duck nut, but you know, now that I know, you know, I feel like I got more knowledge, which is always good. Knowledge is power. You know,
Juice Man, he doesn't like O'Malley at all, man.
He says no matter who wins between Umar and Merab, it's a win for me. That means no more O'Sally being champ. O'Sally, he's doing that on purpose. That's not like a misprint. That's not a, you know, he means to say not O'Malley, O'Sally. I don't know if that's an insult. It kind of reads like an
French,
insult, but I don't get what the, you know, O'Sally, not
Dave,
O'Malley. He's O'Sally.
But O'Sally, in French,
He's
it's
Salé.
like dirty, man. The old dirty being champ, man.
Well,
You know,
Salé
O'Sally.
was salty.
I think it's more like Sally, a girly name.
Yeah,
trying
I
to call him.
guess. He says that means no more O'Sally being champ, and I love it. Well, there you go. Juice Man does not like Sean O'Malley. I kind of wanted Sean O'Malley to have success because he seemed popular. Like, people liked him. He was drawing money for the UFC. And the more people watch the UFC, I think the better. You know, more people are watching MMA. I like when people get excited about MMA. You know, Conor McGregor is fun for the sport because people get excited when Conor fights. It's not that Conor's this great fighter or whatever and a great person, you know, but he's a draw. And O'Malley was feeling like a draw. But to really draw them in, you got to win. You got to win.
Yep.
All right,
you're
guys.
right.
We're winning in 2025. And we'll be back. I'll be back tomorrow night. And I'll be back with the boys for Ringside Report MMA next Thursday night, 8 p.m., as we are every Thursday night, 8 p.m. here on the Ringside Report Network. And I'll be back tomorrow night with Johnny during SmackDown. We'll be watching SmackDown, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, right here. Johnny and I doing a little smacking the talk, talking the smack. Everything WWE, and maybe even some AEW. Kenny Omega came back this week. We'll talk wrestling tomorrow. You had enough wrestling tonight? No. There's more. Tomorrow, here on the Ringside Report Network.
Thanks for sticking with us to the end. We would really appreciate it if you could help us spread the word. Please share this episode on whichever social media platform you use. Add a comment below and consider reviewing us on Apple Podcasts. We are an audience-supported network, so consider becoming a recurring supporter at membership.ringsidereport.net. Check out our website at ringsidereport.net.